Good morning. Happy Wednesday, or whatever time of day this is. I don't know. Maybe you're watching this in the evening or the afternoon. Anyway, happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are having a great day. And you're ready for your vocab quiz. Woo-hoo! If you are not ready for your vocabulary quiz, then I want you to stop, pause the video, and study. You have 15 questions over your vocabulary words from weeks 1 through 2. Then when you take your quiz, you need to make sure your notes are all put away. You need to be honest. Before we get there, let's start with some new vocabulary. So make sure you have your notes out right now to take notes on your new vocabulary. We're going to start with our prefix focus, EU. Remember a prefix, that's a little part of a word that comes in the beginning in order to add meaning to the word. So EU is pronounced you, and its definition is something that's good. So when you add that to a word, you're adding the idea that something is good. So our first word is euphony. Euphony. Its definition is a pleasant or harmonious sound. That phony part, the phone, that has to do with the sound. So we have pleasant or harmonious sound. Something that's nice to listen to is euphony. It's the opposite of cacophony. Remember when we had that word, cacophony? That's discordant sound. It's sound that does not sound nice together. For example, the euphony of Mozart's music appeals to many. So that pleasant sound of Mozart's music. Euphoria. Euphoria. You may have heard this word before, probably not euphony, but euphoria you may have used, or not used, but heard of. Maybe you've used it. The definition is a feeling of well-being or elation. So when you're super, super happy that everything's going right for you, that's euphoria. Teresa felt euphoria when her little sister was born. Super, super happy. I know some of you out there are thinking, the last thing I feel about my younger siblings is euphoria. But maybe you did when they were first born. Eulogy. Eulogy. Maybe you've heard of this one before. This is a written or spoken commendation of a person or thing. Often it is a tribute to someone who has died. That is the most common use of eulogies for a person who's died. Now that part obviously is not good, but what is good is that they're telling the good things about a person. So that's why it can be used for more than just funerals, but the most common usage is in funerals. So it's a written or spoken commendation of a person or thing. So telling the good traits, the good qualities about someone or something is a eulogy. A minister or friend may give a eulogy at a funeral. Sorry, I'm missing the period in that sentence. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Make sure that you're ready to fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary word. Number 1. The fans experienced blank or elation when their team won all the games. Number 2. The sopranos, altos, and tenors blended in a blank of harmonious voices. Number 3. The president spoke a blank honoring those who had died in the war. All right, make sure your answers are ready to go. Number 1. The fans experienced euphoria or elation when their team won all the games. Like how many of you experience euphoria when Barcelona wins? Now I know, they did not win this last time. Sorry about that. But when they do, you have euphoria, right? You're very, very happy, unless they're not your team. Then you don't care. Number 2, the sopranos, altos, and tenors blended in a euphony of harmonious voices. So they all sounded pleasant. It was nice to hear the way they blended. Number 3, the president spoke a eulogy honoring those who had died in the war. So talking about the good things, the good traits of those people who had died. It is time for your quiz. So you need to have a piece of paper out and ready to go. all of your notes need to be put away. So that means even if you're using a piece of paper from a different notebook, you need to have all of your notebooks closed, put them away. Just take out a piece of paper, put your name and the date at the top, and vocabulary quiz 1. So name and date at the top, vocabulary quiz 1. Here we go. Section A, there's 3 sections, 5 questions each. Section A, write the definitions of the following vocabulary words. Now, I'm not going to give you enough time on the video to write the definitions. You need to pause the video to finish writing the definitions. Number 1, macrocosm. Macrocosm. Number 2, humane. Humane. Don't forget, pause the video. Number 3, adept. Excuse me, not adept. Adapt, I'm sorry. Adapt with an A. A-D-A-P-T. Adapt. Number 4, wave. Wave. Number 5, alley. Alley. Section B, write the vocabulary words for the following definitions. 6, supports or braces to straighten weak joints or muscles. So what vocabulary word did we learn that means supports or braces to straighten weak joints or muscles? Number 7, the natural height of anything. The natural height of anything. Number 8, a person who hates marriage. A person who hates marriage. Pause the video if you need to. Number 9, a fossil large enough to be seen with the naked eye. That means seen without the use of something like a magnifying glass or binoculars or anything like that. A fossil large enough to be seen with the naked eye. And number 10, characteristic of man. This is an adjective. So an adjective, that means it is characteristic of man. Section C. Fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary word. So this is just like the exercises that we do every day with our vocabulary. But I'm going to give you words to choose from. There's only 5 questions and 10 words. So that means you're not using all of the words. There's only 5 questions and 10 words, so you have to pick. And don't forget, pause the video if you need to. Number 11, the blank wrestler easily defeated his opponents. The blank wrestler easily defeated his opponents. Number 12, peering through her blank, the biologist studied the unique fungus. Peering through her blank, the biologist studied the unique fungus. Peering means like looking closely. Number 13, the excited girl began to read faster when she reached the blank part of the story. The excited girl began to read faster when she reached the blank part of the story. Number 14, because he was a blank, he would not hire the woman for the job. Because he was a blank, he would not hire the woman for the job. And number 15, the town's new blank said that no one could skate on the sidewalk. The town's new blank said that no one could skate on the sidewalk. Okay, so choose from statue, adept, misoneism, climate, microscope, adopt, misogynist, statute, microbus, and climactic for all of these sentences. Okay, now I need you to do something for me. As soon as you are done with this quiz, which means pause the video now, send me a picture. Okay, you need to send me a picture of your quiz. I can see what time you watched the video. So that means I should be able to match the time that you send me the picture of your quiz with the time that you watch the video. So immediately take a picture of your quiz and send it to me right now so that I know if you are being honest or not. Take a picture of your quiz, send it to me right now. If I don't get a picture of your quiz that matches the time that you watched the video, I am going to take points off of your quiz. So send it to me right away. If there is a reason that you can't send me your picture right away, something's going on, for some reason you can't send me your picture, please let me know as soon as possible that you are unable to send your picture right away. Okay? Thank you very much. All right, let's move on. Talking about unity in narrative paragraphs. Well, what is a narrative paragraph? Well, a narrative paragraph is just a paragraph that tells a story. So these are the kinds of paragraphs that you would find in short stories and books, things like that. So a narrative paragraph is a paragraph that tells stories. Usually, narrative paragraphs present the events in chronological order. So you go from beginning to end, usually, because that's usually how stories go. Some stories start with the end, and then you do a flashback to the beginning and all that stuff. But the typical order of a story is that the narrative, it starts in the beginning, and it goes through to the end. So a narrative paragraph, it tells a story, usually from beginning to end, which means that it usually focuses on a single unified action, so one main theme, one idea, rather than a main idea stated in a topic sentence. So it usually focuses on a single unified action rather than a main idea stated in a topic sentence. Because it's a story, it doesn't need to state the main idea in a topic sentence, because that's like giving away the story and then telling the story, which is a method of storytelling, but it's not the typical method. So it doesn't really have a topic sentence. You just tell the story and you get the theme, the main idea, by reading the story. Your first sentence will give you an idea of what you're about to read, but it's not going to be the main theme of the paragraph. You understand what that means? We're going to look at one in just a minute. So what I want you to do now is take out your writing paper. So you have a paper that's titled Unity in Narrative Paragraph, page 80 in your binder. So find that, pause the video if you need to, find that now. Unity in Narrative Paragraph, it's page 80. We're going to be going through the first part of the exercise together. So this exercise says that you need to read the paragraph, find any sentences that do not add unity to the paragraph, so they're not unified. They don't really have to do with the main idea. Then it says you need to finish the paragraph after it. You need to start by writing a rough draft on a piece of paper, and then put your final draft there. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But let's start with the first part of the paragraph. So this is a 2-paragraph story. So we have the first part of the story right there. Now this story obviously has more detail to it. This is just a little part of the story, and you get to be a part of telling it. So the first part of the story is given to you, but there are 2 sentences in that first paragraph that are not unified with the rest of the paragraph. They don't really contribute to the main theme. But that main theme you're not going to get from the first sentence because it's not a topic sentence. You have to understand what the theme is by reading the paragraph. So let's begin. The starship's captain, an Antarian named Baltru, gave the order for the engines to slow. In the view screen, he saw a medium-sized planet of a watery blue color, encircled in white clouds. His crew had not slept in 36 hours. The ship went into orbit, putting up its shields so that any scientists on the planet would not be able to detect its presence. In a mere 3 minutes, the ship's main computer analyzed the planet's ecology and the histories, customs, and languages of all its peoples. The ship's pharmacy then encoded that information into tablets, which members of the chosen landing party swallowed with water. For landing party member Afnet, it would be his first trip to another planet. By the time the shuttlecraft reached the planet's surface, the landing party knew more about this planet than any of its inhabitants did. All right, so what's the main idea in this paragraph? Did you get it? The main idea is that there's a group of explorers that are going to a new planet. That's the main idea. Did you get that from the very first sentence? No, but the very first sentence does give you an idea that we're going to be talking about some kind of science fiction because you have Starship Captain in his ship. And then the rest just kind of goes along with that. But there are two sentences in here that do not actually contribute to the unity of the paragraph. So let's try to find the first one. Look for it. It interrupts the thoughts. So the ship pulls up, they see this planet, and they're going to go into orbit around the planet. That means the ship circles the planet. So what kind of interrupts that thought? Right here. His crew had not slept in 36 hours. That has nothing to do with the ship pulling up and seeing the planet and going into orbit, right? It interrupts the thoughts. If you got that, give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. So his crew had not slept in 36 hours. You need to underline this on your paper or cross this out on your paper. It's what does not contribute to the unity of the paragraph. All right. There's one more. Again, it basically interrupts the thought of the paragraph. It's more towards the bottom. So we have the explorers. They are getting their tablets, and then they're going down to the planet's surface. Right here. For landing party member Afnet, it would be his first trip to another planet. We haven't been introduced to Afnet. He really has nothing to do with anything. He's not like the main character or anything like that. So it's just a random thought slipped in there. It goes in the paragraph only in that is talking about one of the explorers who's going to be going. But we're not really talking about all the landing party members. We're just talking about how they're prepared to go down. So it interrupts the thought of the paragraph. So those two sentences need to be taken out of the paragraph for it to be unified. Now, it is your turn. So you need to create your own unified narrative paragraph. The shuttlecraft settled into a grassy clearing, and the landing party stepped out. So now you need to create the ending to this paragraph. You first need to write a rough draft on another piece of paper. Remember, you guys are in colegio, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, so I expect good work from you. I don't want just 2 or 3 sentences. I don't even want 4 or 5 sentences. I want 6 or more sentences. They need to be very well developed, which means you've thought about what you want to say. You've made sure that it makes sense and it gives me plenty of interesting information. You need to use a good range of vocabulary as much as you have in order to create these sentences. You need to check your grammar to make sure that you are saying things correctly. That if you have a subject, you have a verb. If you have a plural subject, you have a plural verb. If you have a singular subject, you have a singular verb. If you have no idea what I mean when I say that, then you need to message me and ask me for a little help. Okay? So your stories need to be good quality stories. You are in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade now. It is unacceptable to just give me 2 little sentences, 3 little sentences, even 4 or 5 little sentences. You are much too old for that. Okay? And you guys have great imaginations, so I want to hear your stories. I want to know what you think happens. So please impress me. I want to see. So it's your turn to create this paragraph. Write it first on another piece of paper. Check it over. Make sure you don't have any fragments or run-ons, that you have capitalized your words correctly, you have all your punctuation, and all of that. So that's your homework. Finish the unity and narrative paragraphs on page 80. Have a wonderful day, guys, and I will see you later.